In this lecture, I am going to discuss a very important theorem in electrostatics, which is Gauss's theorem. So this theorem relates electric flux associated with a closed surface with the amount of charges present in that closed surface. So Gauss's theorem is actually giving a relationship between the amount of electric flux and the enclosed charge in a closed surface. Okay, it is a very useful theorem to calculate electric field and other things associated with different closed surfaces. Okay, so now let us move on to the theorem. First I will give you the statement of the theorem, then I will explain what is meant by that statement, and also I will prove it mathematically. This is the mathematical statement of Gauss's theorem. The net flux through any closed surface equals the net charge inside that surface divided by epsilon 0. Okay, so according to the statement of Gauss's theorem, the net flux, all of you know what is flux, the net flux through any closed surface. This theorem relates flux of a closed surface, okay, with the amount of charge in that closed surface. So according to the theorem, the net flux through any closed surface equals the net charge inside that surface divided by epsilon 0. Now by reading the statement itself, we can write it. The left side is net flux through any closed surface. So left side is phi, because flux is phi E. It is electric flux. Net flux through any closed surface equals, so there is an equal to the net charge inside that surface. So total charge, let us take it as Q. Total charge inside that surface, that means how much charge is there inside that closed surface, which is nothing but enclosed charge. Enclosed charge means charges inside the object. Only those charges you can consider, the charges which are inside the surface. Okay, so it is enclosed charge, so I am using ENCL, means enclosed charge, divided by epsilon 0. This is the statement. Phi E, net flux, is equal to, here you can see net flux through any closed surface equals, so equal to net charge inside that surface divided by epsilon 0. Okay, now I will rewrite this one. As you all know, the equation for phi E is nothing but integral E dot ds. We discussed while discussing flux, electric flux, we discussed this equation. In general, electric flux can be expressed as integral E dot ds. Okay, so here instead of phi E, you can write it as integral E dot ds. Okay, but there is a word, the net flux through any closed surface. Okay, closed surface means you are taking an integral on that closed surface. So in order to represent that it is an integral on the closed surface, you will put a 0 here. This 0 means closed integral, means integrating over that closed surface. That is the meaning of this 0 on the integral. Okay, so it is pronounced as closed integral E dot ds is equal to Q enclosed by epsilon 0. So this is the mathematical statement of Gauss's theorem. The enclosed flux, net flux through an enclosed surface is equal to the net charge in that surface divided by epsilon 0. So please remember the terms. This 0 means it is a closed surface, that is why there is a 0 here. Closed integral, it is pronounced as closed integral. Okay, you are integrating over a closed surface, that is the meaning. And what you are integrating? You are integrating E dot ds, it is dot product. Please remember, it is dot product is equal to Q enclosed by epsilon 0. This statement is nothing but the mathematical statement of Gauss's theorem. Now I will prove this theorem, Gauss's theorem. Okay, so proof. In order to prove this theorem, let us consider a surface. Before that, let us consider a charge plus Q. Okay, plus Q is there at a point. This is the point. Now we need to prove Gauss's theorem. Okay, so in order to prove this, let us imagine that this charge is enclosed by a spherical surface. Okay, because Gauss's theorem is applicable for a closed surface. Okay, so you need a closed surface. It can be spherical, it can be cubical, or it can be of any other shape. Okay, geometry, whatever be the geometry, Gauss's theorem will holds for that geometry. It will holds true. Okay, so any shape you can consider. For simplicity of the proof, let us consider a spherical shape. Any shape you can consider and prove it. Okay, it is not only applicable for spherical shape, any shape it is valid, but I am just considering a spherical shape. So your charge is enclosed in a spherical shape, like that you can consider. Okay, now since it is a sphere will have some radius. Okay, from center to each point there will be a radius for the sphere. So let us consider that radius here. This is one radius, which is nothing but r. Okay, at a distance r, you can see there is a point on the sphere. Let us say that it is P. Now what is the electric field at P? What is the electric field at P? Due to plus Q. Electric field at P due to plus Q. What is the electric field? Plus Q is a point charge. So electric field at a point due to a point charge. You already know the equation. E is equal to E vector is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by, because Q is the charge, distance square is r square into r cap. Okay, if the unit vector along that direction, if you consider that it is r cap, then this is the equation, 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by r square into r cap. Okay, now what is the area vector in this case? So you know that area vector means a vector drawn perpendicular to the surface. Okay, so at this point, if you consider, you can draw a vector which is perpendicular to the surface. So the area vector for this point will be like this. Okay, if you consider that point, you can see that it is perpendicular to the surface. It will make 90 degree. So it is an area vector. Okay, so this point is P, and this is an area vector. Area vector ds vector is having a magnitude ds, and it is in the same direction as that of this r. You can see that r cap is in this direction. This is the direction of r cap. because your electric field is here, you are marking it as r cap. In the same direction of r cap, you are having area vector, ds vector, isn't it? So the direction of area vector is also r cap. Magnitude is ds and direction is r cap. So vector is magnitude multiplied by direction. Magnitude is ds, direction is r cap. Okay, so you got area vector is equal to ds r cap. Now your intention is to prove Gauss's theorem, isn't it? So let us first write Gauss's theorem one more time. According to Gauss's theorem, closed integral, this 0 must be there, closed integral E dot ds, this is dot product, is equal to q by epsilon 0. This is Gauss's theorem. So let us do one thing. Let us start from the left side and we can prove that left side is equal to q by epsilon 0, because according to the statement we need to prove that left side is equal to q by epsilon 0. So let us find the left side. Closed integral E dot ds. What is E? You got the value of E. E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q by r square into r cap at P. Okay, so E is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q by r square into r cap dot. What is ds? ds is ds vector is ds into r cap, that is the ds vector. So you can substitute here ds into r cap. Okay, now r cap dot r cap, you can see here r cap dot r cap. As you know from the ideas of vector algebra, I dot I is equal to 1, j cap dot j cap is equal to 1, k cap dot k cap is equal to 1. That means if you dot the same unit vectors, you will get 1. So here r cap dot r cap will be 1. Okay, so dot product will go away. Now you will have integral 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q by r square. R cap dot r cap is 1, remaining is ds. Okay, ds, then r cap dot r cap will be there, but it is 1. Okay, so I am writing it here, ds into, generally this is what happens, r cap dot r cap, but this r cap dot r cap, its value is 1. Okay, so you will get it as 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0, closed integral is there, closed integral 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q by r square ds. R cap dot r cap will become 1. Okay, now if you consider this expression, here you can see that you are integrating with ds. Okay, integration is over ds. Now 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 is a constant, so you can take it out, 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0, because constants can be taken out of the integration. Q is a constant because already q charge is there, now it will not change, means charge is always same. So you can take a q also out, so there will be a q, 1 into q, isn't it? So you can take a q also out. Okay, now another one is r. Actually, what is r? R is the radius. Any point, if p is not here, if p is here, still r will be same, even though direction is different. Here you are using only magnitude of r, value of r. Value of r is nothing but the radius. Radius of a sphere is constant, it will not change. So even though the direction changes, in this expression you are using only magnitude. So magnitude wise it is same throughout. Any point if you consider on the sphere, magnitude is same, r is same. So r square is also a constant, which means you can take it out. Okay, so you can take r square also out, means there will be an r square. Now what is remaining? Closed integral, only ds is remaining, rest of the terms are constants. Okay, now q by 4 pi epsilon 0 r square into what is closed integral ds, which means you are integrating all the small ds. Okay, so here you can consider that there is a small ds here, you can consider like this. You are having a small ds here, then a small ds here, a ds here, all these are small ds. Okay, you are considering all such ds and you are adding. In this screen it is looking like a circle, but actually in 3 dimension it is a sphere. So if you consider all such ds and if you add all those small portion, what you will get? You will get the surface area of the sphere, isn't it, of radius r. What is the surface area of a sphere having radius r? It is nothing but 4 pi r square, isn't it? Surface area of a sphere having radius r. Now if you check the expression, you can see that there are some terms, 4 pi r square. Now what is remaining in this expression? Only q by epsilon 0 is remaining. Okay, so from where you start? You started from closed integral e dot ds, you substituted that value and simplified. Finally you got it as q by epsilon 0, which is nothing but the statement of Gauss's theorem. Okay, so this left side is equal to q by epsilon 0, which is nothing but Gauss's theorem. Okay, according to the theorem, you can see that closed integral e dot ds is equal to q by epsilon 0, where this q is nothing but the enclosed charge. This is enclosed charge, and in the last lecture I explained what is enclosed charge. Okay, so I will explain one more time here. If you are having a closed surface like this and consider some charges plus q, minus q, plus 2q, and there is a plus 3q here. Now what is the enclosed charge by the sphere? Answer is plus q minus q plus 2q. You don't need to consider this charge because this is not an enclosed charge by the sphere, it is outside the sphere. So answer will be plus 2q. Okay, so this is the concept of enclosed charge. In Gauss's theorem, you must use enclosed charge. This is enclosed charge only, not the entire charges. Okay, so this is the statement of Gauss's theorem, mathematical statement. This is the sentence of Gauss's theorem, and this is the proof for Gauss's theorem. It is very important. Now in the next lecture we will apply this theorem in some situations, in some cases, and we will find the electric field in those cases. Okay, very easily we can find within 2-3 steps, but if you apply Coulomb's law it will be difficult to get it. That is the importance of Gauss's theorem. Some complicated problems can be solved easily. Same problem you can solve using Coulomb's law also, but it will take more steps and more time. But applying Gauss's theorem, you will get it very easily. That is the advantage of Gauss's theorem. Okay, so that applications and all we will discuss in the next lecture.